All right. Welcome back to another GSMC Wrestling Laureate Podcast brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your host E here, obviously here on your wrestling Wednesday hump day. Hope you guys are having an amazing week. You're so close, you can make it to the weekend. I crap you not. Hope you guys are having an amazing week. So let's go ahead and jump around and into it. Thank you for tuning into the GSMC Wrestling Laureate Podcast brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. We have a great show for you today lined up. We have our WWE NXT review, our AEW Dynamite preview. WWE Speed Ricochet champion is going all elite. So, make sure, you check into that. Also, we have the pre-Women's Evolution. We're going to talk about, Trish Stratus, Molly Holly, Lita, and Victoria, people who kind of paved the way for the Women's Evolution. And finally, we're going to end it all with my Wednesdays What If. Wednesdays Wrestling What If. I'm going to take you into a world of what could have possibly happened if maybe something in the wrestling world didn't really turn out the way it did in the past, perhaps, like, just for examples, like what if Cody Rhodes never quit AEW? What if the Undertaker would have kept his mean mark? Just stuff like that, and something I'm going to talk about today. What in my fifth segment? What if WCW bought WWF? So don't make sure you stay tuned for that, the fifth and final segment. But before I move on, I want to remind you guys to use the tips and donations link at the GSMCpodcast.net. We get a number of questions that come in from viewers like you during the show, so to ensure that your question gets read on air, I ask you guys to use the tips and donations link at the GSMCpodcast.net with your questions. Just put your questions up on top so I can see it. Tell me what you like. Tell me what you don't like. Tell me your opinions. Tell me your, wrestling stuff. I'd love to hear wrestling stuff. Obviously, I'm a huge wrestling fan. And it really does help the show, guys. Here at the GSMC Sports Network, we love a little peace, love, and positivity, 110%. And again, the link is at the GSMCpodcast.net. So let's go ahead and jump right into our first segment. And I don't know why I did that. Oh, that's because I didn't turn off this little eyeball right here. Awesome. Let's go ahead and jump right into our WWE NXT review. So it shows why Adam Page is, why he's all ego. He came into the building from the get-go wanting to speak to Ava, wanting to kind of, get this not rematch, kind of get what he wanted in terms of his contract. Ultimately, a WWE NXT World Title shot, but we'll get into that later. The show started off with Jordynne Grace making her in-ring debut in the WWE. In the history of professional wrestling, the TNA Knockouts champion has never stepped foot inside a WWE ring, so it kind of makes it super interesting. She fought Stevie Turner. She was wearing NXT TNA she was wearing a jacket that kind of combined both of the companies, so that maybe that could be like a nice little foreshadow to what maybe they're ultimately trying to accomplish with this addition toward WWE. Obviously, Jordynne Grace is an amazing individual. She's an amazing competitor. She's basically the best wrestler in women's wrestling in terms of Ring of Honor, New Japan Professional Wrestling, Independent Circus, WWE, whatever. So, you can always count on Jordynne Grace to put on a good match. And she did. She put on a really good match. Obviously, you kind of saw Roxanne Perez come out and sit ringside. Jordynne Grace continues to be electric. Inside of the ring, she's undefeated for over 300 days as the TNA Knockouts champion. She's just more impressive. Roxanne Perez, like I kind of thought was going to happen. These girls ended up going face to face at the end of the night. So, it was kind of crazy. So we kind of had a segment for Lash Legend. She breaks up with Trick Williams saying, hey, I got to focus on my own career. We can't keep doing this. And Trick said, he was like, hey, like, honestly, I get it 1010%. I absolutely get it. You got to focus on your own career. The inaugural NXT Women's North American Championship in that six-pack ladder match heading toward the UFC Apex Center in Las Vegas, Nevada is going to be dope. It's going to be intense. Definitely Lash Legend needs to be focusing on everything else in her life besides Trick Williams. But where does that leave Trick Williams? Where does that leave his head going into WWE NXT Battleground? Maybe a little vulnerable toward Ethan Page. Who knows? And next, we saw Shawn Spears talking to all the prospects. You saw Josh Briggs come out and basically, Shawn Spears claims Josh Briggs has lost his soul. Josh Briggs tells all the prospects that this guy is basically full of shiitake mushrooms. So, next you have Booker T Summit. You had all six competitors. You had Michin, Jaida Parker, Fallon Henly, Keilani Jordan, Sol Ruca, all in the ring at the same time, ready to kind of fight for, kind of that championship. it's just kind of crazy how this all kind of worked out. Like these six women are absolutely impressive. It's going to be pretty great to see them kind of go at each other. Honestly, with Sol Ruca's injury in her ACL, I honestly wouldn't know who to kind of pick right off the spot. So, I'm still kind of, stuck in the, kind of the dark when it comes to that. Because my pick was Sol Ruca. I think she's an amazing competitor, but before she got injured and had to leave WWE NXT for quite a bit, she came back ready, willing, ready to fire, but she was injured again. So this, could, lead one of two ways. Number one, you have a young WWE NXT up and comer like Sol Ruca, just waiting for a chance to win a championship like she's going to on Sunday. Or, it's kind of sad to say sometimes you cannot push the human body that far, no matter how much sometimes you have to kind of admit your limitations. Kind of like what you saw, a lot when it comes like, a lot of wrestlers that try to train to be in WWE, sometimes, especially in the past of WWE and WWF, you kind of had these walk-on models come from basically off the street. And these girls didn't really know how to throw hands. They didn't know how to, to have a maneuver, or anything like that. That kind of makes me think of kind of like Liv Morgan. Although Liv Morgan did have, quite the training session. She was kind of brought up from like, she was a Hooters waitress, went up to a wrestling promoter, talked to a wrestler and tried to get her name inside there. That's how she got her foot in the door. But you kind of see her still botching matches. You see her botching, promotions, and she's not really that good on the mic. But she's getting better. She's getting better. So I'm not, trying to dog on Liv Morgan, but that's the ultimate, that's kind of the outcome of and the consequences of just going out and just, kind of finding somebody, not really finding a real competitor. So then we're kind of moving on. A absolute brawl breaks out. Who would have thought that would have happened? So basically, Ava said to her interim vice president, or the interim general manager, to have a 3-on-3 match at the end of the night main event. Next, we see Riley and Deuce being really, really petty and Chase U not wanting to support Thea Hale going out to fight Jasmine Nix. You saw, I forgot his name. Damn it, Duke. No, wait, yeah, Duke. Duke, you saw Duke and talk to Rich Holland. He's like, "Oh, don't worry about them. They're tripping." And I think at this point, you kind of have to admit, that Duke is right in this one. I don't think at this point, Rich Holland really kind of pushed this factor too much to the point where, he's trying to join Chase U for a reason. I feel like when you're in wrestling, you kind of have to ally yourself with someone who's ultimately going to have your back because you can't really take on WWE alone. Well, that's the storyline and stuff like that. But you can't really take on WWE alone. You obviously need somebody having your back. Chase U is going to hopefully eventually have Ridge Holland's back, or it's going to absolutely blow up in front of their face. And to be honest, I'm actually rooting for Ridge. I'm rooting for Ridge Holland here. It reminds me of this classic Hollywood storyline in every movie. And sometimes you see in a romantic comedy where you kind of have this guy that can't help but to hurt the other people, kind of like the Hulk. Kind of like the Hulk. He can be the Hulk physically, emotionally, psychologically. You can't really break through to him. And the moment he does show like vulnerability and actually wants to try to be a part of something other than himself, he does something to mess it up, but to his own oblivious and to his own, non-consequential, like, actions where he doesn't feel like, he's doing it on accident. It's not on purpose. So I think it's kind of cool how that, have that storylines all, going out. You have Thea Hale against Jasmine Nix, a Pele kick, a tight Pele kick, to Thea Hale for Jasmine Nix's first win as an NXT superstar. Next, you see Josh Briggs attacked by Sean Spears. He was he was rescued. It's so weird to say rescued to a guy like Josh Briggs. He's so huge. You'd be like, dude, you were rescued. Like, it's crazy. But like, he was basically helped out by Javon Evans. Sean Spears had the chair. He's known as the chairman because of his use of the chair. Trying to take out one of the NXT's North American top prospects in Josh Briggs. So now you're going to have a match with Sean Spears and Javon Evans, probably heading toward NXT Battleground. This has to be big for WWE NXT, so it wouldn't surprise me to kind of see that match kind of unfold, kind of see all the drama happen. For the first time in WWE, you're going to see WWE wrestlers touch foot inside of UFC home ground. So it should be pretty interesting, talking about or heading toward that. And I don't know, it's kind of crazy. It was, absolutely love Javon Evans. Think, that's a 20-year-old. Yeah, he's 20 years old. Like, that's crazy. And he's doing such a great job. Next, we have the Heritage Cup match between Tony D'Angelo, the Don of the family, against Damon Kemp of the No Quarter Catch Crew. The Don won round one. Obviously, started off pretty strong. You had it. Damon Kemp came so close. He came so close to winning a fall in round three, but it didn't really happen. Round four, the Don comes out absolutely pissed, absolutely frustrated, looking at this guy, be like, "You really want to challenge the Don of the family? You really want to challenge me, Tony D'Angelo, the Italian mafia suitor? Like, this guy's gonna kill somebody. This guy's gonna absolutely, like." And of course, Damon Kemp was the victim of it. Damon Kemp didn't really, he put up a fight, but he didn't really score one fall. But that, not try to diminish any of his attributes or any of his physical abilities or anything like that. So I thought that was pretty crazy. Next, you kind of saw Jordynne Grace with Michin. TNA meets WWE. You absolutely love Jordynne Grace back there in the backstage. She was greeted by Ariana Grace in a funny way. She was greeted by a bunch of NXT women's superstars, but she was ultimately greeted by Tatum Paxley. Tatum Paxley has a huge obsession towards towards gold. Obviously, that's the reason why she turned her back on Lyra Valkyria. But Jordynne Grace is going to issue an open challenge at Against All Odds, and I thought it would be Natalya, but honestly, the way that kind of the booking and the way the promotion kind of ended with Tatum Paxley ultimately eyeing Jordynne Grace's TNA Knockouts World Heavyweight Championship, it would have surprised me if you see Tatum Paxley on TNA Impact. Definitely going to watch out for that tomorrow on Thursday for uh, my Thursday wrestling night preview. So it should be pretty interesting. Next, you see Izzy Dame came out and against Natalya. Natalya bounces back with a nice win. Kind of knew that would happen. Tyson and Tyreek, before they even had a chance to fight, they were attacked by Gallus. Gallus is still pretty, trying to get their name out there. I ultimately thought they were going to be the ones to challenge Trick Williams at WWE NXT Battleground in Las Vegas, but now you kind of have Ethan Page for that. So Obafemi comes out. Of course, you had Wesley, the main NXT North American champion. So you're gonna have Joe Kofi, and you're also gonna have Femi Lee for the NXT North American Championship at NXT Battleground. Should be pretty badass. So then you had that 6-woman tag team match. You had Lash, Fallon Henly, and Keilani Jordan against Jaida Parker, Sol Ruca, and Michin. So what I kind of got from this was that Sol Ruca was able to pin Lash Legend, which wasn't really an easy task to kind of do. So that kind of makes me it kind of helps. It kind of gives me hope. Kind of gives me hope that maybe my pick of Sol Ruca winning the WWE NXT inaugural North American Championship is kind of still in the works. So I'm absolutely excited for that. You saw JC Jane and Jasmine Nix on the ramp watching. Ethan Page signs the contract, but under one stipulation. You had Trick Williams come out. Trick Williams absolutely killing. The fans are behind him. I think Ava is behind him. A lot of the superstars back in the NXT locker room definitely has his back. You don't want to see a newcomer, especially a newcomer from the AEW roster, All Ego, come out and challenge you for the WWE NXT championship and, kind of win. But in order to sign him, Ethan Page brought up a lot of good points, kind of a lot of points that I brought up. The reason why they kind of have Sexy Red there hosting the whole shindig is that you had top stars like Ilya Dragunov, Carmelo Hayes, Dijaks, you had Blair Davenport, you had Lyra Valkyria being drafted to the WWE main card rosters like Raw and SmackDown. So it kind of leaves them a little vulnerable. Obviously, that's probably why they reached out to Jordynne Grace. That's definitely why they reached out to Sexy Red. And now Ethan Page, the way he was able to promote and do his promos on the mic, I gotta be honest, I'm an Ethan Page fan now. I think he's doing great. I think he would do wonders in the WWE NXT. So, I don't know if he's gonna go as far as to beating Trick Williams at NXT Battleground, but it's gonna be dope. For the main event at WWE NXT Battleground, we have the WWE NXT World Heavyweight Champion Trick Williams against the newcomer Ethan Page. So definitely looking forward to that. So guys, do not go anywhere. Hope you guys like segment 1. Segment 2, we're going to talk about AEW Dynamite preview happening right now live on TNT or TBS. Don't quote me on that. But hey, stay tuned.